Hi everyone, this is Freddie Betty. I can be found on Ravelry as Freddie Betty, on Instagram as Freddie Betty01, and on Facebook as Betty Kroll.
And this is Marta. You can find me as Marta Schmarta on Instagram and Ravelry.
We've read Chapter 3 in Patty Lyon's Knitting Bag of Tricks and completed Lesson 3 in the accompanying workbook. This chapter and lesson is all about patterns, testing your fabric, and preparing to knit a garment.
The Unraveling Bag of Tricks Cal started looking at this lesson on February 15th. You can start your work and post on any lesson at any time as long as it's after the start date for that lesson. Now back to Lesson 3 about patterns. There tends to be two ways to approach knitting a garment: choosing your yarn first or choosing your pattern first. Both are great places to start.
Once I have my pattern and the yarn I think would work best for it, I still need to swatch. There are 3 swatches to knit in Lesson 3. One is using an animal fiber, another one using a plant fiber, and a third using a synthetic fiber. It's okay to use a blend of any of these, but you want to have a large enough portion of your yarn to be the type that we're studying.
Right. Step 1 of any project is swatching, as we learned in the previous chapters and lessons. We did all kinds of things to our swatches. We created them using stockinette and then a pattern of our choosing, then blocked them, took measurements, then weighted them to simulate wear, and took measurements. What did you find out about differences between your swatches, Freddie Betty?
It was interesting. I made swatch 3 using superwash merino, swatch 4 using acrylic, and swatch 5 using cotton. They behaved the way I thought they would until I did the gravity test. I was sure the weights would increase the row gauge on my swatch 3, which used superwash merino, but that did not happen.
I noticed differences from my initial blocking too. My wool swatch didn't change much, just like yours. My synthetic swatch grew some, and my plant swatch also grew.
I really like the exercises about measuring for a sweater. I didn't know about the difference and importance of full chest versus an upper torso measurement.
It really helped that Patty included a typical schematic that might be in a professional pattern, then explained how to use it. I want to mention that one of those cross-reference symbols, the yarn ball with the cross needles in it, is on workbook page 50 and refers to the book's page 63.
I saw another yarn ball and cross needle symbol on workbook page 52 that refers to book page 64. I love how Patty uses the lessons to support the book and guide us through the lessons and exercises of the workbook.
Now that I know about it, it sure helps and it ties it all together. The lesson ends with probably one of the smartest things ever: taking measurements from your own body and from a loved sweater or top that fits just right and making them work for the sweater you want with the ease you want.
I thought that was great too. When Patty talked about the language of patterns, it cleared up something I've been seeing pop up in questions. A pattern is more like a recipe with an assumed skill level and knowledge base, not a how-to for basic stitches and processes. I've only knit one sweater and one cardigan, but I'm ready to try another.
Freddie Betty, that's fantastic. On that happy note, I think it's time to say, see you next time. So until we start chapter 4 on March 1st, bye-bye.
Bye.